my computer. Hopefully, hopefully, if you don't make some notes, you get to pay for my playback. Okay. So let's go on with the outline. We're going to look at UX project briefing. So if you say you're a UX copywriter, can you interpret a brief from a client? When a client comes to you and they say, okay, we need UX copy for this product, how do you onboard them? How do you interact with them? What are the kind of questions? What kind of questions would you be asking if you want to work on a UX copywriting project? So we're going to look at that. Also, we're going to look at micro copy for websites. A lot of people think that when we're talking about UX copywriting, it has to be about applications. It has to be, an app. You've seen a lot of people redesign GT Bank's applications and bank stuff like that, just to show you what they can do. So we're also going to look at the ground rules for UX copy. What are the principles that you need to follow to ensure that you craft really good copies for interfaces? We're going to look at practical examples to demonstrate these ground rules. Also, we're going to go a step further to look at what you need to do when you want to execute a UX project and the pricing. How should you price? What should you charge for a typical UX project? Then also, because what we do at CIC, what we do at Crush It Copywriting, it's not just to teach you UX copywriting. This is not just about UX copywriting. There are other forms of copywriting that you can do to get started fast. So I'm going to show you the quick ones so that you can learn them, you can gain mentorship, you can get help to start doing those things, where you can find UX copywriting jobs. So it's not enough for you to know how to do UX copywriting. Where can you find these jobs? Because there is no point if you're learning a skill and you cannot move that skill to profitability. I keep saying it. So if you're learning a skill for the fun of it, then I don't know what you're doing. Then we're going to look at your roadmap to establishing your freelance writing business and your survival toolkit. We're going to look at everything in details, right? So if you're with me, if I'm not just talking to myself, just put in the chat, let me know that you're ready for this class. Just tell me, just put in the chat, you're ready, so I can know that you all are ready for this class. If you're not ready for this class, we can just end this class right now so everybody can go back to what they were doing. If you're ready, just put in the chat that you are ready and you've got your notepad. Right, so I can see a few people here. Most of the guys in here, they are CIC students. So if you are a visitor, I want to see you in here that you are ready. All right. That's fine. So what is UI? What is UX? When you say UI, UX, people say UI, UX. What is UI? What is UX? So UI stands for user interface. So user interfaces are like access points where people interact with designs. So if you have a mobile app, that interface is the access point for that product. So you have graphic user interface, we have a visual user interface, we have, I meant to write voice user interface. So if you have graphic user interface, we're talking about the websites, we're talking about the applications, we're talking about all of those, your digital, your phones, your applications, pretty much graphic user interface. We're talking about your voice user interface, you're talking about making use of Siri, stuff like that, voice chat, those are like interfaces. So the content of those interfaces, what makes these interfaces alive is the experience, how you interact with these interfaces. So if you have, I'm sure most of you joined this webinar through your Zoom application. So let's assume that you open that application and you cannot find any button, you cannot find anything telling you to click this button to join. You just be looking at your screen without taking any action. Even though there is an interface, there is a graphic interface, but there is no content on that interface. There is nothing telling you to click this or to take this action. Nothing is guiding you through that interface. It's just an interface, a blank interface. So the moment we begin to add elements on that interface, the moment we begin to add wordings, then we are trying to get you to interact with that interface. So it's not just enough to design a fanciful application. We must do some writing on that interface so that people can interact with that interface. I don't know if you're getting me now. So how well people interact with an interface is called, user experience. So people can say, I really like the app, but I don't like the user experience. When people say that, I feel comfortable using this application, what is happening in there is your user experience. Some people like a particular kind of game because of the experience, because of the graphic elements, because of the way they've designed the buttons. These are the things that make you get addicted to some applications, right? So user experience is the UX. The UI is the user interface. As a copywriter, you would be concerned with the user experience. I'm going to talk more about the ecosystem of product designers and how copywriters actually fit into this ecosystem. But when you're talking about user experience, pretty much we are talking about the element that makes it possible for you to interact with a company's product or a company's services. So we're going to explore UX in detail in this webinar, but I just want to tell you that if your idea of UX copywriting is click here, sign up, although buttons are part of UX design or part of copywriting in that sense, but it's not just enough to write in a place that a user should click here to sign up or submit. Choices must entice and decisions must delight. So what we're saying pretty much is that the summary of this slide is that UI is for the product designers. They design these interfaces, the applications that you see, your mobile banking app, you can see you log in onto your app, it brings up your name, stuff like that. If you want to make a transfer, click here. You see all those buttons. Those buttons are the elements of user experience. Those buttons make it possible for you to interact with that graphic user interface. That element, those buttons, those texts make it possible for you to be able to interact with that app and carry out specific action. So it means that all product designers or business owners generally want their customers to have the best experience possible. So they're going to need two people, a product designer who can come up with that graphic interface, come up with that user interface, and a copywriter who can provide the right elements on that interface. So if you have any questions at this point, I want you to put that question in the chat so that we can trash it before we go to the next slide, because everything I'm going to be talking about, we build on these. I'm going to build them on this foundation, UX, UI. So if you understand UI, UX, then it's time for us to look at micro copy and the scope. So when I say micro copy, I'm still talking about UX, I'm still talking about UI, UX, and all of that. So what are we trying to do really when we do UX copy? When we say we want to write for applications, we want to write for website, what are we trying to do? So most of the projects you will take on as an UX copywriter or as a copywriter, pretty much for applications, for website, is to probably onboard a new user. You're trying to sign up a new user, you've downloaded some apps, you're trying to sign up, you put your name, first name, last name, zip code, stuff like that. You can see the app taking you one step to the next step. So we can design an application or we can design an interface and write the right copy to onboard a new user. So if you want a new user of a product or of a digital product to have a good experience, then you must hire a good UX copywriter to write, to make sure that that experience is warm enough, because when you're onboarding somebody into a product or into a service, you want them to have a good, reception in that sense. So we must design, we must use the right words to onboard them. Making users buy more product. I'm sure there are times that you want to order something online. We have Jumia Foods, we have different applications where you go to and you want to order stuff. So the kind of text they use is to ensure that they they work on your emotions somehow so that you can buy that product. Encouraging the user to carry out an action, getting the user through the execution of an action. So pretty much what we are trying to do in US copywriting is to get people to take a predefined set of actions. We know that this is what this product does. We want people to order to be able to place order for their food using this application, and that is what we want people to do. Now, if a UX copywriter writes a copy that does not support the overall goal of that app, then that copy is dead. So we don't, if you want to entertain people, then you would have different kind of elements on the application to entertain people. So but if you want people to buy something, to order something on the app, and people are just playing around on the app, that means you're not guiding them to take that action. That means that we must revisit the copy and the design. So when we are creating products, when we are writing for UX, like I said, experience, UX is user experience. UX copywriting is copywriting that helps people to take the right action, right? So it is important that we are able to write appropriately to make sure that the goal of the product is realized. So we can see microcopy in your confirmation messages. You can see a microcopy in your, maybe in search bars, you're trying to fill a form. You can see microcopy on a landing page, submit button, and stuff like that. So let's look at an example in here. This is an interface. This is a graphic interface. This is like an application for Blue Apron. And the goal of this interface is to get people to buy their recipes. But you will see that from the design, from the left, you can see that it has been designed such a way that you're going to interact with the first element, which is choose from a variety of chef design step-by-step recipes every week. So when you look at this interface, your eyes goes here first, then to the second step, to the third step. That's the design. That is the interface. So of course, you're a copywriter, you can advise on interface, but that is not your role in itself. This is the interface. This is the interface of Blue Apron. Now, as a copywriter, remember that in terms of user experience, we want to guide them to take specific action. What is the specific action that we want this application to achieve? To get people to order for recipes. We want people to get on the app, get them stimulated to order for recipes and get cooking. Now, we could have said submit. You can see the word in there, get cooking. That copywriting is functional. It's not telling people that get started now, get cooking. That phrase is emotional in that sense. You want to explore the application to actually get cooking. So let's look at the copy on the elements. We have choose from a variety of chef designed step-by-step recipes every week. This is not telling you that choose from our recipes. This is telling you choose from a variety of chef designed step-by-step recipes every week. Or this is not telling you, instead of writing all of this, they could have just said our recipes. But this copywriting is functional. It helps the user to visualize what they really want them to do. From there, you can see step 2, it says, get fresh seasonal ingredients delivered right to your door. So if you are on a team as part of a team of product designers and you're the copywriter, you want to make that technical feature to be interesting. So somebody who does not understand UX copywriting could have said, we will deliver to your door. We will deliver to your door and get fresh seasonal ingredients delivered right to your door. They are two different things. So because what we want the person to have this experience with Blue Apron. We want them to have this experience with the application. We want them to start visualizing that, okay, discover dinner. I need to make dinner. Okay, I need to choose from a variety of recipes. Then what I need to do first is probably order. They're going to deliver these fresh ingredients to my door. And you can see the last element in here. Enjoy delicious, unforgettable meals cooked from scratch. Right. So this is just to give the user an experience that can actually get them to make use of this service. That is what we are doing in UX copywriting. UX copywriting is to make sure that the goal of a product is fulfilled. If an app is designed, you would see that somebody was saying to me that they played a song on YouTube Music, the application. And that when they played that song, the song started recommending similar songs in terms of radio now, started recommending similar songs that they found really interesting, that this is the power of AI. This is really magical. For YouTube, that's the goal. The goal is to entertain you. you're not on YouTube Music to buy anything per se. You're not buying anything. You're not ordering anything. You are there for entertainment. So in terms of graphic interface, they have designed the YouTube Music application. You have all of those elements for you to pause, for you to switch, for you to put on loop, for you to keep on repeat. But what makes YouTube Music enjoyable for the user, apart from those buttons and elements, is that particular AI that helps them to look for similar songs that the user can enjoy. That is why you have conversations around, I don't like Apple Music. I make use of YouTube Music now. And for me, really, I ditched Apple Music about, several months ago. I enjoy YouTube Music now. That's because of the experience. So the experience is very, very important for product designers, for business owners. If you can design a product that has the best experience, then you can be sure that you would have a good returns on investment. You have a good bottom line. So whenever you are writing a copy for interfaces, you want to ask the person, what is the goal of this project? What are we trying to do exactly? What is the goal of this project? Are we getting people to buy? Then you make sure that you make use of these principles to make sure that your copy is actually interactive, right? So briefing. At what point can somebody bring you in for a UX project? At what point can you actually start writing for interfaces? So clients can bring you in even before they start designing the product. You can see a mock-up in there of an application. You can see the login, you can see the interfaces and all of that. They can bring you in from the start and share with you the wireframe. But be careful, because when they share with you the wireframe, the idea is not fully developed. They are going to make a lot of changes. So if you're going to work with them at that stage, you must be patient, because you're going to have to do a lot of revisions, right? Because ideas can change quickly. They're still fleshing out, the product designer is still fleshing out the interface to make sure that, okay, can people really interact before you now come to do the copywriting, to provide the content in that interface. So they can also give you like a mock-up. Like I already told you at the start of this webinar that US copywriting is also beyond mobile applications. You can have UX copy for website. So this is like an example of one of the clients that I worked with in the past. They give you a mock-up. All of these buttons that you can see on this interface, home, about us, technology, application by product, media, contact us, all of this that you can see, they are not real elements. They just designed it so that the copywriter can have an idea of what the company is trying to achieve. So if you can see an annotation in there, it says this hyperlinked to the About Us page. It means that when they finally build the website, once a user comes on the website and they click on read more, it should take them to the About Us page. So it means that whatever we're going to write on this interface, on this page, has to be such that the user can click on that read more, because the product designer or the business owner already has expectations of the interface. The product designer already has like a predefined action that he wants or she wants the user to take. So we must now look at this product, look at what they're trying to sell, and produce actionable copy that can actually get people to click on that read more without wondering. So that is user experience. So if this is not properly done in terms of the kind of button shape they use, you'll find out that some product designer will tell you that they've had more interactions with round buttons. They'll tell you these colors work the best and stuff like that. So this is an example of a project, a mock-up, where a client can actually give you this kind of mock-ups that we want to create content around this interface. So it doesn't have to be the mobile applications that we see every day. It could also be for website, right? So as you can see, this is the lower part of the mock-up that I just shared with you. This is the lower part. So these components, you can see each of these will be hyperlinked to their respective pages. As the copywriter in here, that means you have to provide short micro copies, short sentences, just to be able to drive home your point quickly, so that people can click more and read the full page. So UX copywriting really pretty much has to do with making sure that the user interacts well with your product, with your interface, and they carry out specific actions, right? So let's talk more about, because if you are in the CIC program, you would know that we like to make use of case studies. We don't just tell you this is that, because if we tell you this is that, you can actually go to Google and go and read it, or go to YouTube. But we will show you the back end. What happens when a client gives you a project? What are their requirements? What Because when we look at that back end, we're able to tell you what you need to know. We're able to tell you that, okay, this is the priority, this is the big deal. So if you think that US copywriting or copywriting is one very technical thing, no. As long as you can express yourself in simple English, you would be able to handle any copywriting project. If you can express yourself, forget about all of the technical jargons that you see on the internet. People make use of technical jargons because they don't want you to come into copywriting. They want to protect their territory. So your friend might even be a copywriter. They may not tell you because they feel like, I don't want him to come in because they're obviously making money. They're probably not telling you. So they paint copywriting to be like very serious thing. They tell you, I'm in a tech community. I'm working in a tech company, stuff like that. No, it's very simple. As long as you're open-minded, you can read, you can express yourself in simple English, you would be able to do any form of copywriting. It's just the way we are in Africa. Sorry to say that, people don't want you to come into whatever they're doing. So they're trying to protect it. Like, I don't want people to come in. I'm doing UX copywriting. No, I'm just going to stay there. Sorry. I'm just going to stay there and make all of the money for myself. But copywriting is very simple. As long as you can just follow strategies that we teach, you would be able to write really good copies. So I don't want to digress too much. Look at this requirement from a client. It says, we are looking for someone to do user interface testing. Now, I'm giving you an example of a project that I had done several years ago, because I tell people that UX is not new. And I'm proving it to you that UX copywriting is not new. So that I want you to get used to taking up this project. It's no big deal, really. And there's another opportunity for you. Apart from getting paid for doing the copywriting itself, you can also get paid for doing interface testing. It means that you can, before you even write your copy, you can get paid for interacting with the interface and writing a genuine report for them and say, okay, I have interacted with this application and I think that this button does not work. I mean, the hierarchy is poor. You need to change this. You need to do that. You can get paid for that. So we are looking for someone to do user interface testing and describe how to use our application, Easy Taxi Office, right? Here is a link to software demo. This task requires very good written English and focus to understand how the software works, what it does, and how it can improve our client's business. So that is a client, your own client, telling you what they need. That before you write anything, you have to understand what you're trying to achieve. You have to understand how this software works and what it does for our client. And you must be able to express yourself in simple English. That's all. Scope of the work, a simple how-to guide for our client describing how to start and use main elements of the software. Like we said, this is about user experience because they want people to be able to interact with that software. Describe how certain functionality works. No technical knowledge is needed. In most cases, we just need an efficient and easy to understand written English. That's another thing. People make US copywriting a big deal. That's what I'm trying to just strategies. Okay, so I'm gonna take questions. I can see questions coming in, right? I'm gonna take questions. I'm going to take questions pretty much later on because we have not gotten into the into the main thing for today. So as you can see in here, that what we need is just to be able to express ourselves, right? So if you're thinking it's going to be a tech product, I mean, I don't listen to news. I don't read articles on tech and stuff like that. No, you don't need to understand how these things work. You just need to be able to read around that product and write in simple English. As you can see in the previous examples, I mean, these are just simple short sentences, really, really short. So you can get paid for that, right? So let's talk about the principles. What are the ground principles of UX copy? what should you consider when you're writing? In fact, generally, you should consider these principles. The US copy must provide a choice and move users towards a decision. You can hear from the business owner, this is not me. I didn't make this up. This is from a client. This is from a client. I didn't make this up. They want their client, the customers, to be able to interact with their software, with the elements in the application. So your US copy must provide a choice and move users towards a decision. US copy needs to be concise and original, but never obscure. That's what I already told you, that you need to understand the element. You can see, describe how certain functionality works. No technical knowledge is needed. In most cases, we just an efficient, blah, blah, blah. So short pieces, you can see the last part, short pieces of text throughout the software, visible to the public and our clients, company staff. We don't need a lot of things in US copy. What we need is for the text to be concise, original, but never obscure. Show, don't tell. Always create a mental picture. You can see in here how the product designer ensure that they have the right graphic elements to show. You show, when it comes to copywriting, you want to paint a mental picture. While on the application, the user should start thinking, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this. They should have this adrenaline rush, right? So US copy is written, we can make use of humor. US copy is written to be felt. A good balance of information and emotion is there for engagement. So you don't say, click here to start, get cooking. You know, a mix of emotion and information, right? Apply gamification like scarcity, influence, ownership, and epic calling. These are really advanced principles in UX copy, but I'll just give you a quick example. You see all of these navigation bars. You see the bar like a countdown telling you to take an action quickly. You see the bar going down slowly, or as you complete a step, the bar keeps going. I mean, I think LinkedIn makes use of that gamification system. When you want to set up your LinkedIn profile, you see that bar going from one step to another, intermediary, because they want you to finish it. They want you to finish that step. They want to improve your user experience. They want to increase how well you interact with the elements on LinkedIn. So they call it gamification strategy to get you, because you want to finish that bar. That was what To Go did. That was what worked for To Go. A lot of people they were on To Go because of that gamification system, right? Influence. They want to feel like, okay, I have ultimate star on To Go. That system is gamification. They're trying to get you to get addicted to that platform, get you to interact more with that platform. For them, for To Go, they are good for that application, for you to stay on that application. Of course, they're not saying anything. You're not ordering anything. Their goal is for you to stay on the application. So they have to make use of a gamification system, which is one of the principles of UX copywriting, right? So let's look at these principles in action. I took these examples from the internet. I find them really useful. So I just thought I might just show you guys. Look at two examples in here. We have don't send and receive money with friends and family in the US with an email address. It's a two-step process with little latency. There aren't any charges for the recipient. This is too long for US copy, right? Because we already said that our UX copy should be concise. This is the better version in there. Send money to anyone in the US who has an email address. It is fast, easy, and free. This is functional. This part of the copy is functional. So this will do well. I'm sure if you look at this closely, you might find a way to even make it shorter. Be direct. You can see another example in here. You must register before you can vote. Remember, we said this is micro copy. Nobody's looking for stories on applications or on micro websites. We need it to be punchy, direct, and straight to the point. So you don't start explaining as such. You're not writing a novel. You're not writing a book. You must register before you can vote to register to vote. UI text focused on the current task. You want to keep the attention of that user on the current task, right? Key details only. Look at this. Your phone needs to communicate with our servers to sign into your account. This may take up to 5 minutes. And your phone is contacting us. This can take up to 5 minutes. So when I advise you that if you take up a UX copywriting, I already told you that there is no big deal. Don't allow anybody scare you when it comes to UX copy. There is no big deal. Once you produce your first draft, then you can step back again and see, how can I trim the fat? How can I remove the fat in this content? When I say trim the fat, it means that you want to remove the excess words because we want to make it concise, direct, and make sure that we have the key details, right? So that's how to make sure that your UX copy is functional. And trust me, anybody, I repeat, anybody can do this. As long as you can write in simple English, as long as you use WhatsApp, you can text, you can chat with your parents, you can chat with your boyfriend, you can chat with your, you can do something like this. I mean, look at somebody's getting paid a top dollar for writing. Your phone is contacting us. This can take you up to 5 minutes. Can't you write that? Are you telling me you can't write this? You can't get paid for this? I mean, it's no brainer. All you need to do is be able to write with these principles in mind. That's all. So write for all levels. So it depends on some people have created applications for for that locality, using language specific for that locality. But if you're working with a client and the product is going to be used globally, you can make use of words for all reading levels. Turn on location history and enable location history might not be exactly the same. Enable location history might not work for somebody who does not really understand the search, because if you're using Uber, for example, Uber app shouldn't tell you to enable location history because you might just be stranded and you need to make use of that app or something. It should be turned on, something that anybody can understand, all reading levels. For those of you in the CIC program, you probably understand what the FK score is all about, readability and stuff like that. So you know how to write for 4th grade, 5th grade, 7th grade, and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what this slide is all about. So also you want to avoid some certain words. Look at this. We have your chariot awaits, because we already said you should make use of humor, right? You already said you should make use of humor in your US copy, but don't go and say your chariot awaits you. Meet the driver at the designated pickup spot. You can see your ride is here. So you want to be simple, direct, and straight to the point. So that's pretty much what that part of the presentation is all about. So let's talk about executing and pricing a UX project. So the issue of pricing is very tricky. How much should I charge for a project? How much should I how do I even execute this project? I'm sorry, the sun is really shining to my face, so I think I'm able to just adjust a bit. Right. Okay, so you've gotten a mock-up like this, and you're wondering, this is just too much. Let me show you the other part of the mock-up. This is just too much. You can see how much should you charge. But if you don't even know how to execute a project in the first place, how do you even charge for that project? So let's quickly look at the executions framework. The executions framework of a copywriter. Because if you don't know what it takes to do a copywriting project, you won't even know how to charge, right? So I'm just going to run through this quickly so that we can move on to the other part of the presentation, where I'm going to show you where to find US copywriting jobs. I'm going to show you other short copywriting projects that you can do to make money fast. I'm going to show you some powerful tools that you can use to scale your project. So if you're here, I want you to stay dialed in. I want you to stay in here so that you can reap all the benefits of this webinar. I have kept most of the gems. I've kept most of the gifts at the later part of the webinar, because I know that people may want to leave before the end of the webinar, and because we have put in so much time to make this a free class, it's supposed to be a paid class, because we've put in so much time to put this together for you. We would not like people who are impatient to get the gems, right? So if you like yourself and you want to get some real actionable information, I'm not talking about aspire to perspire. I'm talking about real stuff. You want to stay in there and stay with me to the end of this webinar. So back to this research framework. When you get a project, how do you what really happens really? So we have brief interpretation. When a client sends you their project, maybe they send you the mock-up, they send you the application, you want to look at it, you want to identify the big idea. The big idea for any project is the goal and what they offer really. What are they offering in the big idea, right? So can you guys hear me? Somebody says they can't hear me. If you can hear me, just put in the chat.
Yes, we can
That
hear
you
you.
can hear me.
We can hear you.
Yes, we can
Yes, I
hear
can
you.
hear you.
That's fine. That's fine. So Ruth, you probably just want to check your mic so that you can hear me. Okay, so we have identifying the big idea. In the big idea, we want to find out what is the big deal of this product. What is the big deal of this product? Right? We do the research. Like you said, I showed you the other time that the client said you just need to learn more about this product, do your research. So you need to do your research. Who are you writing to? Your audience. If I'm developing an application for folks for people to be able to buy spare parts. Let's say I want to develop an application for mechanics in let's say for mechanics in Ojuelegba, right? To buy spare parts. Maybe I want to connect vendors in what's this part in Lagos where people buy spare parts now. So can somebody just remind me? There's this part in Lagos where, right? So let's say we want to develop an application for that. I'm not you're not supposed to be writing in Ladipo, God bless you. So imagine that I want to write I want to build an application for people to be able to order stuff from Ladipo. My audience, I cannot be using big grammar now. In fact, I may even want to write my stuff in Pidgin because the goal of that thing is user experience. So if I'm writing grammar and people want to use my application to order spare parts, they don't even understand what I'm saying. That product is dead on arrival, regardless of how much they have put into that product to build that product. So your audience is very, very important. And one way by which you can actually increase your value in the face of your client is to ask them, who am I writing to? What's the audience segment? Because sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, sometimes your clients, they don't even know. They don't know these things. They don't know. Because if they know, they will be doing their copies themselves. So, and guess what? If you do a terrible project, they're going to say stuff about you. So it's very important that you advise your clients. I tell my students that if you're a copywriter, you're a consultant, full stop. If you're a copywriter, you're a consultant because you know more than an average business owner in terms of marketing and communicating their brand essence. So I don't want you, if you're a copywriter, if you're in my course, you already know what to do, what to say at any point in time to your client so that you can charge professionally for your work, right? So audience research, then what do you do next? You produce your first draft. You produce your first draft, you proofread your work. I'm not going to go into so much details because I want us to get to the real part, right? And check for readability, FK score, produce a second draft based on feedback, get paid, rinse and repeat. So this is what an average copywriter goes through whenever they take a project. So ask yourself, for going through this process, of course, this is what a crush it copywriter goes through. I'm not going to say all copywriters because this is what a professional copywriter would do. An average copywriter will just go there and write something and send to the client. But my students will go through each of these steps to make sure that they deliver solid work, right? So you want to ask yourself, how much is befitting for me if I were to go through all of these steps? So you want to answer that question and quote your client, right? If you're in the CIC program, you already know the strategies that we use in price. We have a comprehensive guide on pricing alone, how to price, what to say, and how to get your client to pay your what. So remember I told you that this is not just about UX copywriting. I've given you the strategies for UX copywriting. I've told you there's no big deal in UX copywriting. Don't let anybody fool you. Don't allow anybody bamboozle you that I work with a tech something. I'm a tech clinic. Yes, you can do UX copywriting as long as you follow those principles. I've reviewed the back-end briefing from a client to you, so you have everything. I'm going to talk, Kingsley, I'm going to talk more about CIC program much later. If you care to know, I'm going to talk about that. But for now, I just want to give you all you need to, if you want to do copywriting by yourself, I want to give you all of the information that you need to, if you want to go do additional research on yourself by yourself, I want to give you things that you need to know so that you know where to look, you know how to navigate, right? So I'm going to talk about that. For those of you who want to jump the queue and get right into the game, just wait till the end of the webinar. I'm going to give you some extra juices and all of that. But for those of us who are really interested in copywriting, and maybe you don't want to get a coach right now, or you don't want to invest in programs, and you're just looking for good information, I'm going to give you good information today, right? So just be patient, right? So I already told you that the US copywriting is something that you can do. So how about other forms of copywriting? If you're just starting out, if I'm starting getting that as a copywriter today, and I want to be able to earn fast in another 90 days, what kind of services am I going to render? So let's talk about them. So other microservices that you can do to earn fast. We have About Us page. So you don't have to write everything for a client. That's one of the mistakes that a lot of us we make when we are starting out as copywriters, right? We think that when we are getting started, we need to offer all services. No, you don't have to offer all services. You can have a service that says About Us. All you are doing is just writing About Us page for the brand. You can have email sequences. These are really short copies. An email can have about 75 words, can have 150 words, and you can write 3 of those, 5 of those. There are a lot of business owners in e-commerce, and if you are familiar with e-commerce, you see there are emails that are needed for when people abandon the cart, right? When people abandon the cart, we can see emails on how there are a lot of opportunities. So you can do that. I hope you're writing About Us so that if you're smart in here, I expect you to copy some of the things on my screen so that you can go and replicate it. I'm just giving you expo really, because I already told you that this class is going to be open-ended. We're going to give you stuff, right? Email sequences, product descriptions. So I'm tired of people telling me they don't know where to start. I don't know what are the kind of service I should render to make money. No, I'm tired of all of that. And they're making it look like we coaches are just lying to people, or we're being deceitful. That was why I made this class. I want to show you that it is possible for you to do those numbers if you are really committed to copywriting in that sense. We have product labeling, we have sales letters, we have FAQ, we have product guide. And I've given you examples in here. I will write an insightful user guide or product manual. These are not common services that you see, but these are services that you can render and still be able to charge well for them. You can see another example in here to write a captivating About Us. That's an example. You can see an example down there to write Amazon product description. That takes about 150 words to write. Are you telling me that if somebody pays you, this is just bare minimum? I'll be honest with you. The prices you can see in here, they're just starters, right? So if somebody pays you $100 to write 150 words, is that not good enough? I mean, 150 words. There are content writers who write tons of words, 10,000 words, and they don't even get paid $100, right? So if you're there and you've been thinking, I don't know, I'm not sure I want to do copywriting. These are reasons. My students are in here and they can bear me witness that these things are real. They're not fabricated, right? So let's talk about where to find remote works. Where can you find jobs? UX copywriting, whether UX copywriting, whether About Us, whether blogs, whether, product manuals, anything really as a copywriter. Where can you find these jobs? Where can you find these jobs? If you're here, because these are really sensitive information, if you're here, I wanted to put in the chat that you're ready for this segment. Just put in the chat, let me know you're listening to me. If you're ready for this segment, for this part of the presentation, just put in the chat that you are ready so that we can get into this segment. Let me know if you're ready for this segment. I can see just a few people in here, just 1 or 2 people. If you're ready, just put in the chat, Let me know if you're ready for this segment. We're going to be talking about remote work platforms that you can find remote works, right? If you're a new person in here, you're a new copywriter, there are platforms that you can leverage to find remote work. Put in the chat. I can see just about 5 people in here saying they're ready. I don't know if I've been talking to 5 people since 1 hour now, for about 52 minutes now. If you are there and you're ready, just put in the chat, you're ready, and we can get onto this segment. All right. Okay. So, sorry to take you back.
No, no.
Everybody already knows this. You probably know all of these platforms already. But trust me, I have met folks who think that they understand this platform, and until they came into my program and saw that, wow, so you should do it this way. There are strategies. Some of you may be on Fiverr. Trust me, you might go back to your Fiverr and say you want to create these services. You might create them and nobody might even message you for another 1 year. Because there are things that you must do for you to start getting stuff like this. There are strategies that you must follow. There are things that you must do in terms of profile, in terms of positioning, attract this kind of client. So I want you to pay attention to this webinar, right? So we have Fiverr, we have Upwork, we have Freelancer, we have People Power, we have Indeed. You can go there and look for jobs. You can create a small resume for yourself and go there and look for jobs. And we have LinkedIn as well. You know, lately LinkedIn has been saying they want to move into freelance model. So if you're not on LinkedIn right now, you should be on LinkedIn. If I'm my course and you're still thinking whether to upgrade to my LinkedIn program, you should get on that right now, because when LinkedIn switches to freelance model, I tell you, if you have no positioning on LinkedIn, you're going to miss out. So if you're there, you are thinking of copywriting, you're thinking of marketing or getting clients, you should be looking at LinkedIn as well. Then I have something in that says,
that's how you buy.
You have three components in your Facebook groups. Facebook groups,
Please, can we mute our mics?
to make use of Facebook groups to get clients. All you need to do is to go to Facebook, because if you're not paying attention, you realize by now that there are communities for everything on Facebook. There are communities for everything on Facebook. You have communities for dentists, you have communities for chiropractors, you have communities for bookkeepers, you have communities for
Adebola, please mute your mic.
is to get on these groups and
I'm not even talking. I'm trying to get Jire's attention so you can mute Ayola.
If you're not talking, can you just mute your mic? So you have to make sure that you get on these platforms ASAP to ensure that you don't miss out on the prospects on this platform. So there are other job boards that you can leverage to find remote work, right? These are other jobs. So if you're writing, try as much as possible to write all of this down. These are sites that you can get UX Copywriting Project, ProBlogger.com, Creative Job Central, Talent.jobboardfire.com. These are websites where you can get these jobs. And I'm giving you this website because a lot of copywriters don't even go here. A lot of copywriters don't go here. So these are places that you can use to get these jobs. These are places you can go to get these jobs. These are places that are less competitive beyond Fiverr, beyond Upwork. These are places that you can go to. So don't take my word for it. I'm going to show you a quick example. Don't take my word for it. You can see these are jobs, remote jobs. You can see them, US copywriter. So go grab these jobs. But if you want to learn how to write the right proposals to get these jobs, you want to be in the CIC, you want to be in our program, because that's where we can't teach everything in a webinar. Even though we are giving you premium information, we can't just teach you everything. We can't. We try. We may try to give you everything that you need because we love you. We want you to get into that freedom, right? But we cannot just give you everything. We've spent 1 hour already. So these are places that you can go to. If you're interested in learning more, you can come into a program, right? So these are other sites that you can get jobs. We're going to teach you how to put those proposals together and how to get these jobs, right? So I think we've spent time together already. So these tools will simplify your work and help you focus on what really matters, right? We're going to look at, you can use about.me to create a simple profile for yourself. You can make use of Grammarly to proofread your work. You can make use of Hemingway app, because what the Hemingway app does is to help you write functional copies, right? Because UX copywriting requires you to write really short copies, concise. So to make sure that your work, remember I told you to write at all levels. Hemingway app will help you to write at all levels. We have sites that you can use to take payment in Nigeria, take payment from anywhere in the world, Payoneer, Zoom, Flutterwave, and stuff like that. Readable.io to prove your work. You want to generate invoice for your clients, make use of invoicegenerator.com, Zoom to hold your meetings, Calendly.com to also book appointments, and Google Docs and stuff like that. Right. So if you're ready for the roadmap, I don't know if you guys have been listening to me. If you're ready for the roadmap to scaling your income. So this is what you need to do as a newbie copywriter. First, you want to get your mindset right. If you're coming into copywriting, don't let anybody deceive you. You have what it takes to become a copywriter. You have what it takes to be able to do whatever you want to do. You have what it takes to earn passively in Nigeria from the comfort of your home, from anywhere you are. You have what it takes as long as your mindset is right. See, I can give you all of the information. I can give you all of the strategies. I can give you my own formula, which I've already given to my students. If your mindset is not right, there is nothing you can do. So if you feel like, if you already feel like a loser before coming into copywriting, you're not going to be able to make anything. You need to have that mindset. You need to come into a place where you tell yourself that I can do this. People who are doing it, they don't have to work. People who are not even waking up, jumping into traffic every morning to go work for a boss, they don't have to wait. You can do it. As long as you can chat on your phone, you can express yourself in simple English. You have written applications letter. Some of you, you've written your CVs, times down number. Some of you, you've written resumes, you've written applications and